Hello viewers, welcome to Artspace Mysore. My name is Sandhya. Today I am just going to demonstrate a very simple watercolor painting for the beginners, and just have a look as to how I start and proceed with my painting. It's a simple landscape. So typically watercolors are transparent medium, and we use a textured paper. If you can see, the paper is textured. You can see the grains on the paper. When we put water, when we apply water, then it beautifully spreads the colors. So let us get started with my painting. So I start from the background and then come to the front of the landscape. So typically we start with the sky. Before that, what we do is we take a broad brush like this and then water wash it. We water wash the paper first. So here I am applying the water with the brush, plain water with the brush. So I am just simply spreading don't rub too hard, otherwise the paper becomes really wet. Just spread it lightly. You can see how beautifully it spreads on its own. Yeah. So and as you can see, wherever I want light, I just leave it white. I don't paint it. We don't use any white paint. You just leave the space blank without adding any color to it. As you can see, there is no color here. I've just left it white and just spread it. Yeah, as you can see viewers, I have almost done with it, and you can just take a tissue paper like this, and wherever you require a little cloudy effect, you can just dab over it. So you get a beautiful texture. At the same time, you can get the required effect. See, here you need not do, since we are doing a landscape, we show the land here. So this is basically the sky what I have painted. So if you want to lighten, that is also possible. Wherever you want a little more light, the color to be lightened, use a tissue paper like this, which is like this. So as you can see, you can take out the extra colors. I think it's come out beautiful, and now let me do the next step, take you to the next step. Okay, so after this sky, what I am typically doing is taking a pencil and just marking your landscape, some trees, some greenery, to complete our drawing. So what you could do is just a little light with your pencil, a very light marking, so that you get the right proportion. So I want to have a pathway, so I'm just marking it with a pencil, very light, and just make markings on your paper. Okay, I would want to have some trees. And okay viewers, now I'm going to start the detailing. Before I proceed, I just want to show you the sketching which I have done. Simple, wherever I wanted trees, I have just made a marking with my pencil. It is light because I don't want any dark drawing on it, lest the paper becomes dirty. And then, since water painting is transparent in nature, the pencil mark will show even after we paint. So I prefer my drawing to be very light. It is only for my convenience, so that I don't miss out on anything. So now I will start doing the detailing, or the painting further, the landscape. So for this I take the round brush of what number is a brush? You can either take a 8 or a 6 and even 4. Okay, and I will start doing the trees, rather do the grass, the land first, and then I will come to the trees. I will do it in the end. So now I'm going to do the grass. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ochre yellow, and I'm going to blend a lot of colors, take a lot of colors and blend it. And I want to show the effect of the sun. So this is how I do it. Okay. So I have to show the sun effect. So I'm taking this color, ochre yellow and lemon yellow. So I'm going to have a combination of colors in my grass area. Never mind if the paint goes over the tree, it's okay, absolutely fine. Anyways, we are going to paint the trees later. And again I'm going to water wash on this area and spread it. I want this area to be very light, more of whitish. So as I already told you people, that we don't use much of white at all. It's just leaving the whole area. Without coloring much, and you can just water wash it. So now I'm going to darken this. So I'm going to take this burnt sienna and a bit of ochre yellow, mix it, and again reapply for a darker effect. I want to show this area light and this area dark. I have done this side. I want to paint the land area on this side also, on the other side of the path. So typically for a landscape, the most important colors we use are ochre yellow, sunset yellow, then burnt sienna and sap green, leaf green. These are the typical colors which we use for painting any landscape for the land area. So what I'm going to do is, again doing the same procedure, I want this area to be light and the rest of the area to be much more darker. So wherever I want more light, I just leave it white. And I repeatedly, I'm informing you all that we don't use much of white paint at all. Wherever we want light, we just leave it white. So please don't use much of white. Yes, I'm using a little lighter shades of color. My tones are a little light, but then eventually it will all get brightened up once I use other colors like orange and green and burnt sienna. Those are warm and dark colors. Yeah. As you can see, I have finished with this. Now I am going to take the green color, the sap green color, and use also my palette. So this is how I blend my colors, mix my colors. And I just spread it. See, I'm not making any effort in painting, it's just that I'm spreading. Wherever I want green color, I'm just spreading it. And wherever I don't want much of color, I take a tissue paper and just remove it. So you have the hue of that color, the tinge of that color, but and over this, first we apply the paint and then over this we do the detailing. I also require to use a pointed brush like this. Once the painting gets completed, it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. I just love the effect of the watercolor. So keep changing your brushes. For more finer areas, you just have to use a thin pointed brush. The bristles have to be pointed like this. You can see the difference. This is a thick brush and this is a thin brush. So all these minute areas we have to use a thin brush. So I have used ochre yellow and a bit of orange to give it. So later I am going to do the detailing. For now I am just spreading the colors. So in this area I am using burnt sienna and a bit of orange. Okay, now we come to this area, little bit of marking with my thin brush, and now I am going to fill up this area with trees which are very far away, a lot of vegetation. So we are going to show a lot of vegetation in this area. So for that, again I take sap green and a dark green like this. Mix the colors. The leaf green. Also use a little bit of yellow in between. And what I do, I just simply take little water, wet the area again, and I'm going to start. As I said already, that don't bother if your paint is coming over the tree. Automatically it won't be seen once you finish it. So as you can see, this vegetation is in a very far off place, so it's going to be light, and in between you can also use a bit of other viridian green, dark green. You can have a combination of greens like this. And also I take a bit of yellow ochre and in certain areas just apply it. Now see how beautifully you get the effect. Now with a very light yellow, I just spread it and then give a very natural look to it. Just spread the yellow with only water. Don't use much of paint and just spread it. Beautiful. I just like the way the water spreads. And you can just now I continue with painting the vegetation, and here I want to use a little bit of blue in between, just to give some, nature has all the colors, right? So this also looks good. A little bit of blue here and there along with green color, cobalt blue. So I'm just mixing this and just spreading it. Water wash till the end, water wash till the end, and now just spread. Objects which are far away will be small and lighter in shade, and the objects which are more closer towards us will be much more bigger and darker. For example, these are the trees, these are the tiny trees. Can you see the tiny line here? This is very far away. When we, in a painting, when we have to show something which is very far away, will be light and thin and not dark. And for example, this tree, this is pretty far away from us, so it is going to be thin and light. And this tree, which is the closest to us, will be big and broad and more brighter, more darker. So this we have to keep in mind. All this information is for the beginners who have just started doing their watercolors. So I'm sure this information is going to be helpful for them. Okay, so now I'm doing the pathway. Again, a water wash with any brush, a little thicker brush, and just wash it and apply a bit of whatever color. I decided to take a mauve color, a light violet, very little, and spread it like this. Very little color, and just spread it. Very little color. And wherever you feel it is extra, I don't think there is any extra, but then yes, don't need to do it. So this is a very light lavender color, very light, and keep it white most of the area. Keep it white because we have to show the sunlight effect and also the shadow of the tree. And gently use a tissue paper and dab over it. So what I want to do is, I have kept this area light and this area a little dark because I want to show the shadow of the trees of this, shadow of these trees here. Later on, once I finish making the trees and the other detailing, we will come to this portion in the end. Yeah. So for the trees, again I'm going to use a little bit of I want to take a thicker brush, thicker round brush. Yeah, I think this is number 8. I'm going to take a thicker brush and use blue color and green color, cobalt blue and sap green, combination of color like this. Mix it in a palette, and again a little bit of water wash here. Yeah, so I start applying. It spreads on its own. Just allow it to dry for a while. In the meanwhile, I'm going to do the rest of the trees. So this is one tree, and now I'm going to do the tree next to it. So for this I'm going to use a yellow color, yellow and a green color. And this will nicely blend. You may take this tree to a little more corner, and yes, this side I want to show the darker side, and this is the more lighter side. Can you see how beautifully it is spreading? Lovely. And now take a thinner brush, a pointed brush like this, and just, some of the leaves which are coming out like this. Now you can see the effect. This has almost dried up, so I'm going to take a little bit of more blue color and a little more thicker color pigment, and now I start doing the darker shade, giving a darker tone to this particular tree. And wherever, so this gives a very natural look. I use a lot of tissue paper in my watercolor painting because it gives a nice effect. We've started doing the detailing. So I have finished the trees on this side. You can take the trees a little more high if you feel like. Maybe I will do a little bit of more. I want to take this tree a little more, give a little more height to the tree. So probably, yeah. Just wanted this tree to be taller than this. So I come to this side of the painting now. So I'm going to do the trees now. So for this I'm going to use for the leaves I'm going to use ochre yellow. I'm also going to use some burnt sienna. I'm also going to use some sunset orange and of course lemon yellow. because I want the trees on the right hand side to be more yellow orangish in color. I'm going to use more of warm colors on this side, and here I have used more of greens and blues. So I'm going to get started with the right hand side of my painting and color this with yellow, orange, burnt sienna, brown, etc. Okay. So I start with a lemon yellow and just start dabbing with a 8 number brush or a 10 number brush, because this is more thicker. I want, these trees are more bigger, so I want to use, and then in between I can also use ochre yellow or a sunset yellow. Yeah. So start with the lighter color, and these trees will go up till the sky. So just dab the lemon yellow color all over. So as you can see, I have applied lemon yellow color randomly over all this area because I want the trees to go up till the sky. And now I'm going to use a dark sunset yellow and again start dabbing over the lemon yellow, somewhere light, somewhere dark. Can you see how beautiful it is? Just you have to dab it. Use this, the bristles has to get separated to get the real effect. Can you see? And now take the sunset yellow and orange and just dab it. So now as you can see, I am going to use the third tone. The first one was lemon yellow. The second one was a mixture of sunset yellow and orange. Now to that I am going to add a little bit of burnt sienna, a little more darker tone, and in certain places just give a little more darker shade. I am going to take this brown, dark brown, that is chocolate brown. This is called as burnt umber. Okay, and then I am going to start doing the last tree, or you may call it as the first tree. So this is how I proceed. I start with the detailing now. I just start with the trees like this and just get it back. If you feel that the burnt umber is very light, you can add a little black to it to get that real dark color, chocolate color. So painting is all about mixing of colors. And then of course blending. So if you use a pointed brush, then you can do it easily. So this is how you . Okay, as you can see, I just wanted to mention one thing. When we paint anything, we generally don't do it in a straight line, one continuous line. If you can see, I have just given a little gap here and there. Can you see? Nothing is like, you can just see how I'm doing it. I just break the line. I don't do a continuous straight line. When you do like this, then you get a natural effect. Can you see? Mine is not a continuous straight line. You typically, one more time I'm going to do it, just see it carefully. See, I have just broken the line like this. This gives a very natural look to your painting, whether it is watercolors or acrylics or oil. You don't typically, even here if you can see, it's like somewhere the branches are seen, somewhere the branches are hidden, and this is how we do it. Yeah. So I think the thicker the brush for the larger area, it's better for me. It's more easier this way. Here if you see, I have used a dark chocolate color here, and now I'm just simply going to dip my brush in water and then spread it to get a lighter tone, just like this. And just spread it. See, so this corner gets a darker tone and this is a lighter tone. Here also, this is a darker one. So what I'm going to do is simply just rub it like this. And this is how I am doing the shading. That is the shade of the tree with the same brown color. Just spread it like this. You can use a bit of black to give a nice tone, a darker tone here. The corners are dark because we are showing the light falling from the right to the left. So this portion which is on the left hand side is dark and this is more exposed to light. Hence the trunk of the tree is light on the right hand side and darker on the left hand side in almost all the trees which we are showing here. And now with the same brown color, what you could do is just show a little bit of shade. So these are the small technicalities while you have to remember while you do the detailing. Okay. Now when we are painting the branches of the tree, every branch is not visible because some of the branches are hidden behind the leaves. So in that case, how do we paint? It's very simple. We just draw like this, paint like this rather, breaking the line and just showing the tip of the branch. Just observe it, how I am doing it. I'm not drawing a straight line, so it's just breaking. Not every branch in the tree is visible. Some of the branches are hidden behind the leaves. In that case, we just show the branches like this. So now I'm going to start with the last tree and the main tree, which is supposed to be very close to us. So now again I shift from a thin brush to a thicker brush and I start painting again with burnt umber mixed with a little bit of black to get the darker shade, darker tone. Just first you kind of draw an outline and now take a bit of this black and then just simply blend it with water. Plain simple water, nothing much to add, not much of a plain. And can you see how beautifully it is spreading on its own? It will spread on its own. You can now see the grains of the tree. So here I have taken a little different tone, used more of burnt sienna with a little bit of red color. So just to give a little more element to the entire painting. Now as you can see, I am doing the other detailing. Here I have used raw umber color. Again, this is a shade of brown and trying to give a little bit of shading here, a different tone. So with this you can see that the land area here is a little elevated. So your painting will all depend on the colors you use and how you use. So as you can see, it gives a feel that the tree is on a little elevated level, higher level. So now I've started the detailing here. So this is kind of a shadow of the tree. I prefer to make one more branch here, which just goes like this. Okay. So viewers, along with talking to you regarding my painting, regarding teaching of this painting, I also want to mention here that kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will be more regular now with our tutorial videos, and we will be coming up with a lot of other forms of art. And please share our videos as much as possible with your friends and relatives, all those people who are interested in learning art. And yes, and we too will enjoy with you people. I will be teaching you whatever possible, all kinds of art we do, from oils to acrylic to water painting, any kind of canvas painting, and a lot of mural paintings, traditional paintings. So yes, we would like to engage everybody. So now I have started doing the detailing here. For the detailing, we typically use a very thin and pointed brush. So I am using a little bit of burnt sienna and green to do this. And making absolute fine strokes, very thin strokes. I'm taking a little bit of cobalt blue and crimson red. I have mixed it and created a kind of lavender color, and now I'm going to make the shadow of the tree which is falling on the road. As you can see, I have just done the right hand side. I have also done the shading of the trees, the shadow of the trees, sorry, falling on the pathway. Just you can just highlight it a little here and there. Yeah, and now this is the shadow of the tree which is here falling on the floor. In certain areas I have just left it white, so that I don't want to put any color there. In between the shadow there are gaps, and now I'm going to do this area. So taking a little bit of green here on the side. Green always is so nice to the eyes, and it kind of completes the painting. I just love the color green. So just a bit of green here and there. Even here we can just give it. You can add on as you feel like. There's no compulsion. But I just would love to use some green, kind of it balances the whole painting. So I'm just trying to give an upward stroke like this. And also would want to give a little bit of purple here. And a bit of orange. Okay, so viewers, now I have completed the painting. So you can just see the final look of this beautiful landscape. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm sure many of you are going to watch the tutorial and make one such painting, and keep making, so that you keep practicing, and practice makes a man perfect. So thanks everybody for patiently watching the videos.